Hello and welcome to the main event, Mark's podcast. I am the co-host of this here show, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, Troy Adam. With me is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Jose Estrada Jr. to my Savio Vega. He is Greg. What's up, Greg?
Why do I get him?
Wasn't he the one that's super hairy?
I believe so. That's exactly why I'm saying it. I'm not that Mexican.
Oh my gosh. I think he was the one by Edge in Edge's debut, I want to say. And that was like his last match. Because that was one, if anybody goes back and watches Edge's debut, Edge does like a front flip over the top rope and like tomahawks his leg down on top of Jose's head, and they have to stop the match. So I'll always remember that about
Edge
him.
Hurting someone instead of getting hurt.
I know, right? Well, and he hurt the great Jose Estrada Jr., man. I mean, how do you come back from that one and show your face in the locker room?
Shut up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are...
Los Boricuas, man. They were on fire at one point.
Oh, yeah, they had one of the... I can't even joke about this. They had, like, one of the worst theme songs of all time. It was just awful.
Did Savio sing that? I don't ever remember finding out.
Yeah, he did during the entrance. He had a mic, and he would walk to the ring rapping. So...
Okay. I made the song, but yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it's probably him.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But either way, today we are talking about D-Generation X in Your House. It's from the year 1997, right? Yeah, okay, let me try that again.
Of the year.
Yeah, it's from the year 1997. The last event before we head into 98. Chugging along, Shawn is champion. We are about to get Stone Cold repeating in the Royal Rumble, but this time he will actually main event WrestleMania.
I was there.
Yeah, screw you. Wait, you were there at WrestleMania 14?
No, the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I remember, because I told you I hated you about that, because that was the one where Kane came out and wrecked the Undertaker's crap inside the casket. That sounded wrong. We had flashbacks to Katie Vick.
Good Lord.
Come on. He wrecked her inside of a casket. Anyway, moving on. But this one...
This is also the very last event before it's officially Attitude Era, too, if you think about it.
I mean, that's up for debate, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the official stars when Vince McMahon gives that speech, which is a week or so after this, so...
Oh, really? Yeah. It's a big time in the WWF. WCW's chugging along as well. I mean, I will say, obviously, WCW won this month with pay-per-views. I mean, I don't think there's really a question of that. This one was... It's
funny, because, like, this, if you think about, like, Vince gives that speech this month. So what, was, like, October, November, the turning point? He goes, I can't take this crap anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like...
you had all this time to do it. You picked now to do it. I mean, that's just...
It's like, I've been getting my ass paddled like a ill-behaved child for far too long. God dang it.
Oh, man.
98 was when they broke the 83-week streak, correct?
April 98,
I mean, it was Austin versus McMahon was the first Raw. They broke the...
Love.
Yeah, right.
I've often joked that Mick Foley was, like, very integral part of killing WCW. Because he was in that segment that ended their streak. And then, of course, he won the title the night they gave it away, which is the last night I think WCW ever won the Rings War. So when you think about it, Foley was like very instrumental in killing it.
Yeah, for sure. It was he's not looked upon as like such a key player in it, but you always look at Rock and Austin and whatever, but honestly, like you said, it was, Mick Foley played a big part in all of it. Regardless of anything else, he was always there. He was always at least near the top. So, but he's not the focal point of this show that we're going to get to. It is In Your House, D-Generation X, or D-Generation X in Your House, whatever. We'll talk about that here in a few, but let's get into the news and notes of time, shall we?
Let's do it.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @main_event_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/main event marks pod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, we're back from our first break of the podcast. Let's get into all the news and notes of the time, December 1997. The medical examiner's office has released their final report on Brian Pillman, listing the cause of death as natural causes due to, I'm going to try to pronounce this as best I can, heart disease. Something to do with the arteries in his heart. The autopsy showed that Pillman's heart had only been working at about 55% prior to his death.
Damn.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but man, too many times this has happened. With it happens to people too. But like you think about just like the randomness of like nobody knew he had an issue, then boom, he just dies in a hotel room. Eddie Guerrero, nobody knew he had an issue. Boom, he's dead on the bathroom floor of the hotel. And I mean, I'm even thinking it wasn't a heart problem per se, but David Von Erich goes over to Japan. Something ruptures in his stomach, and then he just like dies on the bed, and they don't find him until the next day.
One of my favorite actors was John Ritter. He died similar fate too. They didn't even know something wrong with his heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew what happened to John Ritter. I never really. I just know
he just went to the hospital. He was in there, and then he was gone.
Wow, That sucks, man. Bret the Hitman Hart may be debuting on WCW this week, but it's not for sure. There's also some question over whether he can use the Hitman nickname. Did he debut around this time, or at this time?
He debuted the night after this event we're about to do, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the next week. He definitely debuted like at least 2 weeks before Starrcade to announce he was going to be the ref.
I know that I read a story that I didn't even think about it until today, where that's more of a thing that people dispute. But I guess that was a big legal battle there, or well, not big, but it was a legal battle there for a month, with him and WWE, where he was like, well, I should be able to use the nickname. They said, no, we own that. And then the court said, no, he actually called himself the Hitman before WWF, so he can use it wherever he wants.
Plus, he owned the Calgary, or partially owned the Calgary Hitmen, so he would debut, by the way, the week after this event.
Yeah. Not the next Nitro, but the one after that?
Right.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So it was exactly 2 weeks before Starrcade.
Okay. I just can't believe that they dropped the ball with him so badly. Like, they didn't have to put him in the main event of Starrcade, but a big match on the undercard maybe. I mean, you could have shotgunned something pretty quickly with him.
My whole thing is the debut day. I mean, why wasn't he on there the night after Montreal? My God.
Yeah. Man. Of all the things Bischoff did, and that's not one of them, for God's sake.
I think he did say that was one of his biggest regrets.
That doesn't even seem like a bad idea in hindsight. That just seems like a bad idea on the face of it.
We're going to let it cool down. It's too hot.
Yeah.
We might get an extra 2 million viewers. We're not doing that.
Right. And maybe we won't put him in a big match at our biggest event of the year. We'll hold off on that one. I mean, who do we got that we could put him in the ring with? I don't know. Freaking anybody?
To be really fair, almost every big name was involved in a huge match that night.
Well, they didn't even have to put him in a match with a big name. Just have him in have him in a match against, because he was going against Hogan in the NWO. Throw him in there against, Vincent. I mean, somebody.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
I did. I would have watched Bret Hart versus Vincent.
Shut up.
Come on. All right, anyway.
You should be slapped with that.
Are you saying that Big Vince didn't deserve a match at Starrcade?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
How dare you?
All they had to give him was $20 and some pasta from Olive Garden. He was happy, so they didn't really need to use him.
Hey, they have never-ending breadsticks right now, man, so I'm sure he's happy as hell.
Not here. You got to ask for extra and maybe get them.
Man, that's
you can't go in.
Man. Yeah.
What the hell, jank?
WCW World War III is in the books, and it pretty much sucked. Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Sucked?
Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. stole the show, but that's not saying much, as it wasn't as good as their Halloween Havoc match. Goldberg had to pull out of his scheduled match with Steve McMichael. Oh no! Due to a groin injury, so they did an angle where he was attacked backstage. Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig had a decent match, but both of them are inconsistent at best these days in the ring, and it wasn't a good night for either of them. The final 3 men in the 60-man Battle Royal were Scott Hall, The Giant, and DDP, with Hall ending up winning the match. So
I gotta say this because it's the one time I've ever loved something Dave Meltzer has said. When you said that he stole the show, I'm like, well, you can say that, but then you accuse him of petty theft.
Yeah. Right.
Probably Meltzer's best one he's ever had, ever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this one, I didn't watch World War III 97. You were correct when we reviewed World War III 99, and you were like, I swear Scott Hall won one of these, but I can't remember which. It was this one. So, what the hell happened? Because I thought the winner gets a title shot at Starrcade.
He ended up getting it at Super Brawl. I remember because I was there. I don't remember why.
I
just
thought,
delayed.
I thought.
No, wait. I'm sorry. Going back. Never mind. They flat out said the winner would get their shot at Super Brawl. That's what happened.
I thought Super Brawl was Sting versus Hogan.
Was that one? He got a shot at a Super Brawl because I was there. It might not have been that one.
Yeah.
It was the one after. They were all in San Francisco.
I remember that was like the
kind of ran together, but
yeah, because that was like the rematch from Starrcade, wasn't it? After they stripped Sting, it was at Super Brawl.
Yes, that's right. And then he headlined the next one.
Yeah.
I think Sid and Jarrett or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So basically, we don't know what the hell happened to Scott Hall's title shot. If somebody can,
he definitely got it.
Yeah. Well, either way, with the new Thunder show debuting in January, cue the dramatic music, WCW plans to cancel the Saturday morning main event show along with the Sunday WCW Pro show. Nothing ever happened on those anyway. So, do you have anything to say about that one?
No, I do remember watching them, though. I watched that and Live Wire and Mania, all the Saturday morning shows.
Yeah. I didn't even know those existed as a kid because my dad just watched WWF, so I watched WWF. On Nitro, referee Randy Anderson got hit in the head by a golf ball thrown by a fan, and he was hurting pretty badly for the rest of the night. Fans...
Wow, I've never heard that story.
Yeah. Throwing stuff, okay? I can't remember. I think this was around the same time where Shawn Michaels caused a damn near riot in Arkansas because they were throwing crap and they were throwing like batteries and stuff. And he was like, all right, that's it. You guys lost your main event. And
I feel like it was like a week or two before this.
Yeah, there was a damn near riot here. There was another one in Tennessee where it was something similar. And just, And it was an ongoing thing during this time where fans, especially in WCW, jumped in the ring.
I noticed like that happened at multiple events.
Yeah, I mean, well, the one we just reviewed, 1996, or Starrcade 96. Some idiot jumps in the ring and Hogan has to stomp the crap out of him. And then there was, you and I still don't know about that cage match where the guy painted up like Sting gets in.
Yeah, Bischoff said that was a fan, but I don't.
Yeah, maybe he's keeping kayfabe alive, brother. But anyway.
There was also another one in the cage, The Age in the Cage, 1997, Halloween Havoc.
How do fans keep jumping in that damn cage?
I don't know, but I'm going to say that it's very easy because it doesn't take a skilled climber to get in their cage because they were like more gaps than even the Blue Bar cage from back in the day, if you remember.
Yeah.
So like it's like easier than a stepladder, really. So.
Yeah, but dang, their security was slow as hell.
No, Doug Dillinger's packing the pounds, but
Right. All right. Ric Flair signed a new 3-year deal with WCW this week, so he'll be with them until he's 52.
And then
later,
well,
he was with
later in the year, some crap's going to happen.
Yeah, so let's just say some stuff went down. All right.
Leave it at that.
Speaking of which, Hulk Hogan's contract is up at the end of the year, and with the made-for-TV movie success, the huge WCW success, and the huge buy rate for Halloween Havoc, Hogan is in a position to demand huge money wherever he wants to go. And even Dave Meltzer, who is probably the biggest critic of Hulk Hogan of all time, he said Hogan is worth every single penny they were giving him. So,
the check must have cleared for that week for him then.
Well, he did make sure to put the caveat on there. He was like, well, whatever you think of Hogan, whether you like him or not, I've got to admit. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
Terry Taylor's like, say this. It makes us look better.
Makes it look like I'm not feeding you stuff. All right. The latest on Rick Rude with WCW is that he still has lawsuits pending against WCW and against Sting personally over the back injury that ended his career a few years ago. Rude had to settle the lawsuits first before going back to WCW. Word is that there's still a lot of personal heat between Sting and Rude, since Rude blamed Sting for the injury, and Sting wasn't exactly thrilled about being sued.
Has anyone ever seen that? I don't understand that was Sting's fault.
I mean, he overshot him, kind of,
dude,
but at the same time,
dude. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
if you hit him with a move, if you hit him with a move and it went wrong or something, okay, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, did Ricky was it Austin that hurt his back? I mean,
I think so. I can't remember.
He fell off the second rope onto his ass and herniated his disc or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's no one's fault, dude.
Well, that's my thing. Like, it's not like Sting was being negligent. Like, if you can prove negligence, fine. Like, not to speak ill of the dead, but what Owen Hart did to Stone Cold, I would argue, was negligence. Because he flat out told him, well, I'm going to do this. And Austin was like, no. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And he was like, don't. And he did it anyway.
Did you watch that Undertaker special with Austin? The podcast?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
There's a part where he talks about the pyro guy that burned him at Elimination Chamber. And he told the pyro guy flat out, look, it's too close. Don't do it. He told him that 2 weeks ago. And then he does it and burns him. That's negligence. I mean.
Well, that would explain why. I mean, I don't know if he said this, but from stories I had heard from, various news sites, which, you never know what you can believe. They said Undertaker went to the back and they had to hold him back from beating that guy's ass. And he said, if I ever see him around here again, I'm beating his ass. So they fired the guy on the spot.
Apparently what he said was on the way to the ring or in the pod, he told the refs that guy better be gone. And he was long gone when the match was over.
Wow. So, yeah.
And that was straight from the horse's mouth, so I believe it. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, he has no reason to, lie about that stuff. Plus, he's the effing Undertaker. Why would Vince not, respect him?
But I mean, that's negligence. I don't think what happened in Rude is anywhere near negligence. I just think it was an accident. It sucks.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, the old cliche, if it's not ballet, it rings true, man. Well,
also, I don't think Sting's ever hurt anybody else, so there's no history there. So
yeah,
I don't know that for a fact. I mean, I've never heard it, so I'm saying so.
Right. Well, speaking of it not being ballet, at an ECW show, the fans chanted, "You sold out" at New Jack due to an internet rumor that he was going to WCW. New Jack claims that WCW did make him an offer and he turned it down. WCW denies that they ever made an offer to him. Either way, he's not going to WCW.
Who the hell would offer him a nickel?
Right. Yeah. And even they pointed out in the newsletters, they're like, if WCW did offer him a contract, which is highly unlikely, that would be the dumbest move ever. Have they seen anything New Jack has ever done or looked at his criminal record?
I might argue he's the worst wrestler of all time.
I mean, at least he can hit a couple moves. Right. Well, at least he can hit a couple of moves. I would put
as long as he has a freaking ball bat or something in his hand.
I would put him as number 2 behind Necro Butcher.
He's far worse.
Man, I don't know, man. That's That's like arguing.
What's that thing you say? This is like arguing over who has the cleanest pigsty.
Yeah, who has the better smelling turd here? Like, either way, it stinks and it's hard to flush. Speaking of ECW, their third pay-per-view, November to Remember, your favorite, happened on November 30th.
What the hell?
Rick Rude was scheduled to be at the show, but with him jumping to WCW, he wasn't able to make it. ECW attempted to book Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash to play the national anthem, because apparently most of the Guns N' Roses guys are legit ECW fans. Lost some respect for him there. But that deal fell through. The deals for appearances by porn star Jenna Jameson and rap group The Insane Clown Posse also fell through. Man,
they got a rogues gallery of awesomeness there, dude.
They could add Slash, Jenna Jameson, ICP, Rick Rude. What happened? Either way, the show set all-time ECW records, drawing a sellout crowd of over 4,600, which is more than double what they've drawn before. It also set a gate record, and they sold tons of merchandise. Uncle Dave, you want to get your comments out now?
I'm just trying to figure out why this company failed. I mean, WWE's doing the stuff with Tyson, and WCW has Rodman, but man, they got Jenna Jameson. Oh my God. How do they not compete?
Porn, bro.
See, that's what throws me for a loop. They get Tyson. I think Russo would try to get her, but
well, who's to say he didn't? And Vince McMahon did
not wrong, but
he probably tried. And Vince McMahon was like, "Whoa, dude, calm down a bit. All right, we only get softcore porn stars in here. All right, not the hardcore ones. It's less Christian that way."
Yeah, man.
Well,
Lord,
further on with this, Uncle Dave said that it was a decent show, but not great, with a ton of injuries. Tommy Rogers hurt his neck. Tommy Dreamer injured his good foot. The other one was already injured. And he had to be hospitalized after the show. The Sandman injured his shoulder, his arm, and his ribs in the Demolition Derby of a match he had with Sabu. And Shane Douglas injured his elbow, which already needed surgery, but he made it worse.
Why have we not reviewed this show?
I think we're going to have to at some point. Stevie Richards also made a surprise return to the company, so there's something. Also,
they got Dancing Stevie back. Dude, what the hell? That's a huge get.
Right. He probably did. Big Stevie cool. But how do you make up for losing Rick Rude, Slash, Jenna Jameson, and the ICP? Well, they had appearances from WWF wrestlers Al Snow, Baracus, and Furnace and LaFon. There you go. Al Snow says that
LaFon and Al Snow were all there before, at least. But Baracus, really?
Yep. Well,
from my knowledge, it was a Vince McMahon pet project, so they throw him in that crap. I mean, not that he was great. Don't get me wrong, but that's...
Rumor is, from what I heard, he kind of tried to use ECW as like a proving ground or like a developmental or whatever, because Baracus sucked so much ass. He just wanted to get him some ring time, but not on Raw. So
they want to teach him to wrestle, so they send him to ECW.
They at least want to teach him the basics, I guess. I don't know.
Well, anybody that could teach him that was already gone. Jericho, Malenko, Arrow.
I like how
Benoit.
Dr. Tom.
Perry was gone.
Well, I like how Dr. Tom Pritchard can't get anything presentable out of this guy, so they send him to Paul Heyman. Like, what?
Paul Heyman would be the guy you sent him to develop his personality and stuff, not his wrestling.
Yeah, right. Uncle Dave said that the Sandman Sabu match made Piper and Hogan in a cage look like Flair's Steamboat.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I haven't seen that match, but I can assume.
Yeah, I've seen their other stuff. I don't know if this was the one I've seen where Sandman wore sweatpants that were looked like the American flag, but that match was god awful. So I don't know if this was it or just another one of those horrible Sandman Sabu matches.
The most redundant thing you can say, you said that Sandman match was awful.
Yeah, hey, he's rounding out that top 5 of worst ever, man. We're gonna have ourselves a regular old David Letterman list here after a while. But all right, a couple more stories, WWF related here. Raw this week was built around Bret Hart, who obviously wasn't there and says he'll never return. But after 2 weeks of higher than normal ratings coming out of Survivor Series, WWF is determined to milk this Bret Hart story for all it's worth.
I give it 9 years.
So in media outlets around the country, they advertised the main event of Raw as Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. Of course, the final result was a midget dressed in Bret Hart gear, which Shawn and Triple H beat up, slapped a WCW sign on him, and kicked him out of the ring.
I remember that.
I don't
remember my reaction to that, but I do know I like DX. I probably laughed. I'm not going to lie, but
I didn't watch it, but I remember watching they showed Bret Hart's reaction to it on Wrestling with Shadows, and he was like pretty darn upset. I mean, go figure, but this was like a DX thing at the time, because I can't remember who it was. Oh, they after Rick Rude left, they brought out Harvey Whippleman to replace him for a week, and then they like slapped him around or whatever, and they were like, yeah, he was hard to replace or something like that, some sarcastic line to the camera. Like,
that's brilliant. I'm sorry. Harvey Whippleman.
And I guess they purposely dressed him up. By the way. Oh, good Lord. I guess they purposely dressed him up to make him look like what Rick Rude was dressed like when he was with DX.
Just substitute the doctor bag for a briefcase, right?
What the hell?
Yeah.
When was he ever a doctor?
When he managed Kamala, I believe.
Why was he a doctor managing Kamala?
I don't know, but I remember vividly the Fink would announce him as, he said, ladies and gentlemen, he introduced Harvey Whippleman, who would then introduce Kamala. And he would say it sarcastically, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Harvey Whippleman. And Whippleman would grab the mic and talk crap to him and call him a little man, which I think was an irony thing. Yeah.
Of course. Good grief.
Well, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Last story we got here is this is all kind of like, fallout from Survivor Series 97, which, you all kind of know what went down. But anyway, Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith are locked into their WWF contracts, and both of them are said to be so one-sided that even if they both quit the company now, they wouldn't be able to wrestle anywhere else for the next 4 years. I mean, if they really wanted out that bad, they could have fought that in court.
Bulldog got out and went to WCW like a month or two later, so.
Right. And I think in Dark Side of the Ring, didn't they explain that, like, they kind of gave Owen a pay raise and, like...
I think so, yeah, because he returns, obviously, not to get ahead, at this event we're about to review. So.
Right. Yeah, so I think they kind of placated him a little bit, and then they end up slapping him with the damn blue blazer gimmick. Supposedly, they did that because he didn't want to have a storyline where he was messing around with Deborah on camera. So, I don't know.
So he died because he didn't want to do something disgusting. You can't make that up.
Yeah. Well, hey. Do you want to use that Roddy Piper? You want to use that Roddy Piper line where he looked at Vince Russo and was like, so, you're the guy who killed my cousin.
Yeah, right.
That was rough. But anyway, we're going to take our next break. We're going to get right into WWF In Your House right after this here break.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @main_event_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/main_event_marks_pod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, WWF In Your House 19, D-Generation X, also known as D-Generation X In Your House. It took place on December 7th, 1997, from the Springfield Civic Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. They crammed in 6,358 people. I don't know if that was a sellout or not. I mean, I've never heard of the Springfield Civic Center before. So.
I'm going to say it was, because it looked full.
Yeah, well, WWE has always been really good at hiding that, even on SmackDowns, where it's like, 2/3 capacity or something. They make it look full. But, yeah, the pay-per-view buy rate for this was 0.4. So,
I was
not exactly. Oh, you were ordering the pay-per-views at this time?
Well, we ordered this one.
Ah, okay. Well, and were the in your houses still cheaper at this point?
I couldn't even tell you. I didn't pay the bills back then, so I'm going to
well,
assume they were.
sure.
But
That was the whole hook of the in your house pay-per-views back then, was they were shorter and they were cheaper.
yeah.
So if you ordered a WrestleMania, like the big 5 at this time, they had in order, they had Rumble, Mania, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And outside of that, they would have the in-your-house pay-per-views to fill in the gaps. And those were always, instead of 3 hours, they were like 2.5 hours. And they would keep them at like a fraction of the price. But they started becoming, I want to say they started becoming longer at this point.
I think
and
this was 3 hours, right?
It was close. And also, this is when they started really changing up. Like, I kind of got lost on why they kept calling it in your house, because it lost like all of the meaning of it, you know?
Well, there's only a couple left. I think I want to say Rock Bottom was the last one.
Well, St. Valentine's Day Massacre was an in your house show. I can't remember. There was another one off the top of my head. I can't think. Oh, I think Backlash in your house, I think, was the last one officially. That was the very first Backlash, and it was an in your house show. Go back, if anybody can go back and fact check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure. But either way, we open up the show with a video of D-Generation X running roughshod on the WWF in an almost porno-like voiceover on top of it. And all
I
that.
love this opening, by the way. Let's say
it was something. Tons of sexual references, of course. Uncle Dave compared
it's got
the
attitude,
show.
Pal.
Uncle Dave compared the show to NWO Sold Out and said it absolutely sucked.
I completely disagree on that, but and I do not respect his opinion. So.
I had to throw that in there just to hear from you. Well, hey, they open up with the little guys on this show too, because we get Too Sexy Brian Christopher versus Taka Michinoku in the finals of the WWF Light Heavyweight Title Tournament. This went about 12 minutes long, and I said, I have a Jax figure of Brian Christopher in that outfit.
Well, of course you do.
Why wouldn't I? But they're using the red strapped light heavyweight title. They hadn't switched to black yet. I don't remember when they did.
Probably right after.
Yeah, because I remember it's very easy to find pictures of. Like, apparently they used the red strap for a little while, but I don't know.
Maybe they wanted to decipher it from Ultimo Dragon having it.
Yeah, right. Brian dives outside of the ring at one point and he hits his mouth on the guardrail. I saw him grab his mouth right away and I thought he was just selling, but he starts bleeding out of his mouth pretty bad, so I'm pretty sure that was legit. Jerry Lawler denies that Brian Christopher is his son throughout this entire match.
My first note on that is all the freaking son jokes in JR were hilarious.
It was hilarious for sure. But if anybody grew up during the Attitude Era listening to the commentary during Brian Christopher matches, that was literally all the commentary throughout every Brian Christopher match was, oh, he's your son. He's not my son.
The best one ever is like, he's a good athlete, but some people say he got a bad break at birth, but I don't know. I was like, oh my god. Oh man.
I liked all the stuff where because Lawler was clearly pulling for him or whatever, and Jerry would be like, "Oh, concerned father." He's like, "You're like one of those little league dads or whatever."
Also, one of my notes, by the way, is when Brian Christopher came out, I didn't realize that he was using Draw's theme song. I guess he just cycled that. Yeah.
There's another recycled theme on this show we'll get to, but
yes,
either way, Lawler gets off commentary at one point to wipe the blood off of Christopher's mouth, and then he goes back to commentary. Good grief. Christopher misses the Tennessee Jam on Taka. It ends up winning. Who ends up winning with the Michinoku driver? Because in whether it's WCW or WWF, the Japanese must go over, pal. At least during this time, that would eventually change here in a year. Say what?
Nobody cares about Japanese wrestlers, bro.
Yeah, they don't look like me, bro, and they don't talk like me, bro. They're weird. Nobody cares. That's seriously a Vince Russoism, people. So we're not seeing that as ourselves. Hence the over-the-top New York accent. And anyway,
and
Uncle Dave.
Bros, by the way.
Right. Uncle Dave gave this 3 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average. What say you?
I'm right there with Uncle Dave, actually. I said 3. I love this match. That was fantastic.
I thought it was really good, too. I don't know. It didn't blow me away. Nothing on this card really did. I just, look, I'm going to put the disclaimer on this. I wasn't, like, super hot for this show. I didn't hate it whatsoever, but I wasn't super hot for it. So I'm just going to put that out right there. Greg loved it.
It took me so far back, and I loved it.
And I understand that too. There's something to be said for all the nostalgia feels. So, but the next match that this one took me back, but not necessarily in a good way. It was a 6-man tag between Los Boricuas and the Disciples of Apocalypse, the DOA. Los Boricuas were represented by Jose Estrada Jr., Jesus Castillo Jr., and Miguel Perez Jr. The Disciples of Apocalypse were represented by Chains, 8-Ball, and Skull.
And I'm pretty sure Bryan Adams is gone because of the Bret Hart incidents.
Yeah, he quit and he went to WCW and he's gone forever, bro.
No, he'd be back.
Soon. Would he be back?
He would be back with Chronic for like 2 months, if that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm thinking of, as Crush. Yeah, no, Crush himself was gone. Bryan Adams, like you said, would be back during the Invasion angle as, with Chronic, which would, if you're going to call a tag team Chronic, why them? They weren't known as potheads.
Because RVD and Matt Riddle weren't around yet, you idiot. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, RVD was, just not in WCW. But yeah, this
Saving
match.
grace of WCW. Anyway, it's getting off topic, sorry.
Chains, for people that don't know, is Primetime Brian Lee, the fake Undertaker, whatever. And 8-Ball and Skull are the Harris twins, or the Blue Brothers.
Disciples of, what was it in TNA? Destruction.
Oh, yeah. Good grief.
And also, I believe the guys who built the ring in TNA, right? And all that crap.
Probably.
I'm not even trying to be funny, by the way. That was a legit story.
Also known as the Aryan Brotherhood. I'm just kidding. But maybe not. You? I might not be. Something tells me this feud was a little on the nose. But
well, a little bit more when they fought the Nation of Domination, but I digress.
Well, this one went for about 8 minutes. They said Crush is injured and not there tonight, but like you said, I think he quit after the Bret Hart incident because he was very close with the Hart family. Savio Vega gets sent to the back by referee Tim White. That's not wise.
It's never wise to send Savio Vega to the back.
Right.
That's
Miguel
the money
comes
of the team, which is, a couple of dimes.
Oh, yeah, right. The pesos of the team.
They're not pesos in Puerto Rico. What are you talking about, you idiot?
Whatever. I don't know what kind of currency they use.
I believe they probably use the American dollar.
Yeah, probably at this point. Anyway, Miguel comes off the top rope and hurts his knee, so Savio Vega tries to run out and replace him. However, the referee won't allow it. He's distracted by all this. Behind the referee's back, Miguel jumps up just fine, and he attacks Chains so that Jose can pin him for the win. Uncle Dave gave this 1/4 of a star. I gave it 2 stars for below average. What say you?
I gave it 1 star, and my only note for this was, good Lord, this match sucked.
Yeah, I never gave a crap about Los.
I never gave a crap about any of the teams in this 3-way war they had. And, like the Boricuas, the Disciples, and the Nation of Domination. But, I mean, it was a war spun off from Savio and Crush leaving Farouk, or Farouk firing him, I should say. I thought the whole thing was stupid.
There for a while, I liked the DOA. I thought they had a cool hook, but I don't know. And then the Nation of Domination was fine for a while, but
well, they wanted to be pretty hot, actually. I mean,
right?
They spun off quite a few Hall of Famers not going to say the same about any of the other ones, but
right. Yeah,
I mean,
but Doc Hendricks is in.
Nothing came out of DOA, nothing came out of Bariquas, and all Nation did was produce The Rock. So,
Right. They got a lot of heat, so there's that. But Doc Hendricks is in Butterbean's locker room with the prize fighter and his trainers. Butterbean apparently just fought the night before on the undercard of the Oscar De La Hoya fight. I like how they're like, oh, you're here as the undercard fighter for the big guys, right?
He wasn't even he was more than heavyweight. He was more like a freak show attraction.
Oh, he definitely was. But he says that he's ready to mess Mero up for the way he treats Sable. We now switch to Michael Cole, who's standing by with Sable, but he throws it instantly to footage of Mark Mero making threats to Butterbean and taunting him repeatedly on Raw is War, which led to this fight. Sable says that even though she held up the title belt for Butterbean's fight the night before, and I guess she was the ring girl for the Oscar De La Hoya fight, she's in Mark Mero's corner tonight. Mero then interrupts her and tells her to quit trying to steal his spotlight because he's the real star here. Sure. Anyway, up next we get Marvelous Mark Mero with Sable in his corner taking on Butterbean in a tough man contest.
Before we start, I'm just going to say in a real fight, I might even take Mero.
Yeah, actually, the stuff about this, first of all, this went for just under 10.5 minutes. I guess the thing was they wanted to call it a boxing match, but due to like the state athletic commission's weird rules and with them fixing it and whatever, they couldn't legally call it a boxing match, so they had to call it a tough man contest. It's kind of weird, but
I do remember in this era those were a huge thing. Not to get off topic, but that's what spawned the Brawl for All because the tough man competitions were apparently something to watch.
Yeah, right. Well, and the thing was with they, a couple of people were saying they're like, Butterbean is a freak show that basically, like he said, he's an attraction. He wasn't necessarily a good boxer. He was just big. But Mark Mero was a legit former Golden Gloves boxer. So, a lot of people were saying it's like, if this was a real fight, he might have knocked the crap out of Butterbean.
Yeah, I mean, cardio alone would have been on his side, so he's got that. That's half the battle.
Yeah,
he was they do like this.
Yeah, he was in fantastic shape. As long as he didn't get caught with like a big right hook or something. But at the end of round one,
he's not
Mero cheap shot.
So.
Good grief. At the end of round one, Mero cheap shots Butterbean, and he gets into a skirmish with him. He starts round two with a flying knee to Butterbean's back, and then choking him with his athletic tape. He even thumbs him in the eye at one point. After the round, he does a flying drop kick to Butterbean's back, dropping him. Butterbean knocks Mero down at the end of round three, but he's saved by the bell. His trainer throws ice water on Mero to wake him up. Round four starts with Butterbean knocking Mero down, and then Mero punches him right in the balls for a DQ. Uncle Dave gave this a dud, but I gave it 1 star. What say you?
Okay, that sucked. I said 1 star, but I bumped up 2 because I had a fun time watching this. It was hilarious. I was like, I did not expect this to be anything good, but it was just, if it's not going to be good, at least it got my attention, made me laugh. It did give me vibes of the Piper and Mr. T finish too, because I believe there is a stool that gets used too.
Yep, after the fight, Mero nails Butterbean in the back with his stool, and then Butterbean gets up and chases Mero to the back. I thought there was no.
I thought it was just fun. I mean, it sucked, but it was fun. I mean,
at least there was no.
It was not going to be good. You have to give credit for that. It was never going to be good. So you have to look for why she read it like this. So.
Yeah, but I don't think this drew a dime. So it's like, why the hell is this on the card? Like, who cares?
Because the dime's already drawn in the main event.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I thought this sucked. And I know you're trying to build up Mero as a boxer and whatever, but it's like, I don't know. At least, when you make references to the WrestleMania 2 thing, at least there was no underlying racism going on in this one. So that's always a plus.
Yeah.
What was not a plus, the artist formerly known as Goldust and Vachon come out on the stage. They're wearing pink and gold outfits. Goldust is dressed kind of like a woman with a long pink wig and a woman's eye mask and bright pink lipstick. His music plays in the background while he reads Green Eggs and Ham, and Luna runs around shouting at everyone in the crowd in her Drano's gargling voice.
Look, my only note for this was, did Goldust piss somebody off?
I don't know, man. This was like a 90s thing, like the weird, artist formerly known as, and I'm an artist and I'm weird and I do. This was supposed to be like interpretive art, whatever. I don't know. It was effing stupid, though.
And looking back on it, I think Dustin said a lot of this was his idea. So, I mean,
oh, I'm sure it was. It was something.
Hey, we're talking about it. You know what I mean? I'm not just because we watched the show. So it's like, he's still memorable. And I think Goldust is seriously one of the better characters in the history of pro wrestling. I'm not going to point to this specific moment as a defining moment for that, but
he's evolved a lot. I'll say that.
Is he the Undertaker? Hell no, but he's in that realm.
This isn't the last time this. Yeah. Well, and this isn't the last time this week we're going to talk about Luna Vachon either. So
I hate speaking. I mean, I know we're not speaking ill of the dead, but like, it's just hard to laugh at this stuff.
Yeah. Well, the end of this, by the way, is Luna shoves Goldust down and says, "Come on, you scum!" And she leads Goldust away by a leash.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey,
grief.
man, S and himself.
I guess.
I just had a thought, by the way. Not to jump way ahead, but why wasn't he never in the oddities?
Because he was talented.
Are you saying that Kurgan wasn't talented?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Just going out on a limb here and saying that's the reason.
Hey, John Tenta, I'm not trolling, was pretty damn good for his size, but it's not enough to save that group.
Okay,
but,
he was the only one in that group with a monicum of talent.
Yeah.
So, but quite the switch here. We go to Michael Cole backstage with a Legion of Doom. 2 weeks ago, Road Dogg used a chair to help the New Age Outlaws defeat the LOD for the WWF Tag Team title. Animal says that they've got their spikes back and now they're going to destroy the Outlaws. Hawk then cuts an entire promo comparing the Outlaws to his boogers. And he finishes by saying, "Oh, what a booger." It's like, what the frick, man?
There's, when people say, when a wrestler has it, I always look at the LOD as being the perfect example of that. They said the stupidest stuff. They were never the best wrestling tag team, but holy crap, man, they were just the most awesome.
Yeah. But with this promo, dude, just a little bit of me died inside. I'm like,
no, they're pretty much on their way out too. So we're gonna get the LOD 2000 soon, and then that's gonna be all she wrote. So they're about 6-7 months away. Of course, I have the Mattel ones of the actual LOD, which are one of my nest eggs. Mine are mint in package, so they're two of my nest eggs. But they're about 6 months away from being gone. I hate saying that, but
on forever, bro. But all right,
not necessarily. They'd be back for that quick 2-week feud with the Stooges, and then they'd be gone.
Nice. But we go on to the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn teaming up to take on the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal. Through the WWF Tag Team titles, the Outlaws are the champions. This goes for about 10.5 minutes. Hawk and Animal can't wait to jump the Outlaws in the aisleway, running them to the ring and throwing them in. Henry Godwin comes in and he clocks Animal with a slot bucket. Hawk then chases Godwin off and uses the bucket to beat up the Outlaws for the disqualification. Uncle Dave gave this a dud. I gave it 1.5 stars. What say you?
I gave it a star. It sucked.
Yep. So why do you like this event again?
There's a couple of moments on it I like. I never said I like the whole event.
Well, speaking of a couple moments, we got a hype video up next playing for, like, the whole video is hyping up Sergeant Slaughter's Cobra Clutch, showing clips of him wrestling in the 1970s. Clips are even
that
shown,
movie's relevant.
Yeah. Clips are even shown of bombs being dropped on Japan. So
Well, hold on now. What's the date on this?
Look, this
I
just
feel like I'm pretty sure this was Pearl Harbor Day. Pretty sure it was.
This was.
And
it was.
It's like
I get it, but it's just like, God dang, dude, you had a Japanese guy win a title in your first match. You're like, by the way,
I just think that all those stories about Vince McMahon being a huge patriot come through here.
Oh boy, well, for sure, yeah. And because they even brought up a day that will live in infamy and all that stuff. So, I mean, I get it. I know what it was in reference to, but it's like, dang, bro. Let's show a video of mass genocide. Michael Cole is in the backstage with Triple H in China. Triple H pulls stuff out of an old military backpack, like a comb that only gets the sides of your head. Get it? Because he's bald.
That was fantastic.
He pulls out Metamucil, prunes, and Depends. So he makes fun of his hair and makes some poop jokes. Triple H then says later
right
tonight.
Up your alley. Shut up.
Is like, dang, dude. But he says later tonight he'll stop by Surge's house and let Slaughter's wife take a smoke of the peace pipe, and he points at his junk.
I didn't get that because I thought that would be a Native American joke, which no, I'm not saying it would be for, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
where did that fit?
I was a little confused.
Can you educate me on that? No.
Yeah, I was confused by that too. I was like, what? You couldn't come up with a better reference, like the old rifle or something? I don't know. Anything.
My favorite one ever, I don't know if we'll ever cover it, is when he told him to keep off his lawn, but he can stop by and whack the weeds. That was his best one ever on Sarge.
What the crap?
Oh, man.
Anyway, this, so basically he makes a bunch of, he makes a hair joke, a bunch of poop jokes, and a joke about his Johnson.
Lack of hair jokes, by the way.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, anyway, we now go to Jim Cornette backstage with Sergeant Slaughter, who says that he's not coming out of retirement or coming to wrestle. He's coming to beat up Triple H for disrespecting his family. So now we get Triple H with China taking on Sergeant Slaughter in a boot camp match. Oddly enough, this is not the last boot camp match we will cover this week. We didn't plan this, by the way.
Right. I didn't think about that.
We did not plan this, by the way. It's just, we get Luna Vachon and boot camp matches in 2 shows this week. It just happened. And it goes on for a little over 17 and a half minutes. I said, it's funny to hear Sergeant Slaughter come out to what would be Kurt Angle's famous theme song.
Actually,
Triple H
using it too, like right before this.
I know. Triple H tries to take the ring bell at one point, but the timekeeper wouldn't let go of it, so Triple H knocks him out. When Sarge finally locks in the Cobra Clutch, Chyna rakes his eyes and shoves the referee down. Chyna brings a chair into the ring, but Slaughter powders her in the eyes. However, Triple H hits Slaughter with a boot, or with his boot, rather. He goes for it again, but Slaughter ducks, locks in the Cobra Clutch. Right before Triple H's hand was about to drop for the 3rd time, Chyna kicks Slaughter in the bowels to break the hold. Triple H finally hits the pedigree on the chair for the win. Uncle Dave gave this -2 stars, which blew my mind. I gave it 2 stars because I thought it was fun. What say you?
I loved this match. I gave it 2, but I loved it.
Was it a great match? Hell no. Was it fun? Yeah. I thought it was a fun little garbage match. Why not? I don't know. Judging by, like, Slaughter past the year 1980, Uncle Dave just crapped all over him. I don't get it. I thought he still had some stuff to offer.
Yeah, I thought his whole run as the commissioner was fun.
Yeah, I did too. I have a toy of a Jax figure of him as the commissioner.
I think I have the 80s Slaughter on my wall.
Nice. Michael Cole is backstage interviewing Jeff Jarrett. Michael Cole asks if Jarrett's nervous about facing The Undertaker, but Jarrett denies being frightened and says that he's going to prove that he's the world's greatest wrestler here tonight.
Deny.
The hell? He also calls Michael Cole Mark. I don't know if you caught that.
No, but that makes sense.
Yeah. For many reasons, yes. Yeah, because Michael Cole asked him these questions, and he's like, Mark, let me tell you. And I'm like, was that on purpose?
Freudian slip.
Right. This match was Jeff Jarrett versus The Undertaker. It went just shy of 7 minutes. I completely forgot about this theme for Jeff Jarrett. It was boring and horrible, and Jeff Jarrett talked during it, which seemed to be a 90s staple.
There's all the wrestlers, and then there's me.
Yeah. I was like, all right. I will say this outfit was a lot better than that crap he wore in the earlier 90s.
He's about to bring that back. I don't know if you know that.
No.
He's about to bring it back.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Right before he starts doing the cutting hair crap.
Yeah. When he gets
I said,
Lee as his promoter.
Right. I said, during this bland-ass match, Kane comes out to interrupt, and he chokeslams Jeff Jarrett, getting Undertaker disqualified. Uncle Dave gave it a dud. I gave it a 1.5 stars. What say you?
I gave it a star.
Yeah, this, I mean, it was never meant to be a good match, so you gotta give it that, but god dang. I said, after the match, Undertaker and Kane glare at each other before Kane slaps the Undertaker. Undertaker refuses to hit Kane back because they're doing the whole I'm not gonna fight my brother thing. So Kane sets off his pyro and he just leaves with Paul Bearer. However, Jeff Jarrett chop blocks the Undertaker, stomps away at him, and he goes for the figure 4, but the Undertaker goozles him and chokeslams him again. Jarrett gets so much air on this one, by the way, that the Undertaker nearly drops his ass. He barely got up for the Kane one, but he effing skies for the Undertaker. Did you notice that?
Well, that's respect.
Right. But I said, but Jarrett must pose. So after Undertaker leaves, Jarrett struts for a while his horrible ass music plays.
And his little Tennessee heart, he thinks he's great. What?
Yeah, he smashed 1,000 guitars. He never drew a dime.
There it is.
Never drawn a dime. Michael Cole interviews Mark Henry in the crowd, who says that he's returning to in-ring action in a week or so. He then predicts that Stone Cold will beat The Rock tonight. We now see...
He will return, and then he will turn on Ken Shamrock.
Right. Yeah, they're setting this up for the big heel turn. We now see a video highlight of the, quote, attitude changes for Steve Austin to babyface Stone Cold, and from Rocky Maivia to The Rock in the Nation of Domination. And even though Stone Cold is the Intercontinental Champion, The Rock stole the title belt. Doc Hendricks is now backstage with the Nation of Domination. The Rock lets everyone know that he's not Rocky anymore. He's The Rock. And he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Who I don't believe him because Honky Tonk Man told me that he was.
And I have it on good authority. It's actually The Miz, but, I digress.
I mean, Chris Jericho said it was him. And he's the GOAT. So... we now get Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the Intercontinental title against The Rock with the Nation of Domination in his corner. This goes for about 5.5 minutes. Yes, a Rock and Austin match that goes for 5.5 minutes. Buckle up, people. Stone Cold drives his custom pickup truck.
Be easy with that word match.
I know. I used to love this custom pickup truck of his, by the way. It had his logo painted on the hood. Before the bell sounds, the Nation jumps off back-bodied D'Lo onto the windshield of his truck, and he hits him with a stunner on the truck. During the match, The Rock distracts the ref so that the Nation can beat Austin down outside, but Austin ducks a chair shot from Kama, who hits Farouk. This allows Austin to throw Kama into the side of the truck, taking him out. When the Nation distracts Austin in mid-stunner to The Rock, Austin ends up stunning the referee because The Rock misses with a brass knuckle shot. He gets a stunner. A second ref runs in. And he counts the pin. Austin wins. My God. So many shenanigans here. I think Austin was still kind of injured at this point. He was just making a comeback. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's actually going to be a huge part of my review.
Yeah. So Uncle Dave gave this 2 1/4 stars. I gave it 1.5 stars because it was not a match. What say you?
Okay, so I said this wasn't really a match. It was more of a segment. And because of how memorable it was, basically, I say you got to give it like 4 stars as a segment. And if I'm rating it as a match, it's 1. But like,
yeah,
this was like one of the greatest segments in the history of pro wrestling, I think. It's like easily.
It was something. Yeah, I mean, it was memorable, and it led up to the.
I mean, it showed this is like the first time where Austin was like that badass that killed the whole team. Like, you know, try with the Hearts, but they always got him. You know, it's like the numbers always got him. But like, yeah, I love this segment. Everything about it was fantastic. Like, that's why I keep calling it a segment, because it wasn't really a match.
Didn't this lead to Austin dumping the Rock's Intercontinental title over the bridge?
Yeah, the week after. I think it might have been, because he won the Intercontinental title here.
Yeah.
So forfeits it the next night. And then the week after that is when he dumps it over the bridge.
Austin was actually saying that he has that Intercontinental title on his mantle. He said that's only like one of 2 title belts he actually kept as like memorabilia. He said that one and the Winged Eagle title that he won that was, I guess they replaced it because it was breaking. So
they gave him a belt they could survive with.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he said he wanted this Intercontinental title because it was like real meaningful to him or something like that. But
it's crazy to think in the span of a couple of years that man held 3 different physical pieces of hardware for the world, or 4 actually if you count his actual one. It's just that's funny,
right?
Like we're talking like a couple of years too. You know, we're not talking like a span of like a decade.
Right. Well, Hulk Hogan held like, 3 or 4 versions of the heavyweight title? I mean, I realize that was over like a 4-year span, but...
He held 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I know he won that gigantic one from the Sheik.
Yeah, and then he had the one he had WrestleMania 3, and then the Winged Eagle title, which I shudder calling it a Winged Eagle because there's no such thing as a non-Winged Eagle, but anyways.
Yeah, right.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @main_event_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/main_event_marks_pod.
Now, back to our program.
We now get a hype video for Ken Shamrock destroying people and snapping. That was his gimmick back then, was he would go into the zone and he would snap. And he'd beat people up. Shawn Michaels mocks Ken Shamrock by sitting in a wheelchair and having Triple H spin his foot around, saying that he's been increasing his pain threshold. The joke is, I guess
this was so stupid. I'm just saying, hard.
The joke is that the boot is obviously like half off of Shawn's foot, so it can spin around, whatever. Another night when DX is beating up a handcuffed Jim Neidhart for reasons, Sergeant Slaughter and Ken Shamrock come down to beat up Shawn Michaels and Triple H while Neidhart holds Chyna back. Jim Cornette is now interviewing Ken Shamrock in his locker room. Shamrock says that he's a pay-per-view fighter, and tonight, when he gets in the zone, he's going to make Shawn Michaels squeal like a baby. DX is in their locker room now, and Jim Ross asks Shawn Michaels how he plans to deal with Shamrock. I don't know why they didn't get Doc Hendricks to do this. Maybe he was busy in catering or something. I don't know. But either way, Michaels repeatedly makes fat jokes about him, Girth Brooks, and you fat tub of goo. And then he makes a fart joke about Triple H because this is a Shrek movie now.
He didn't break wind with Slaughter, but he just farted, so he broke wind now.
Yeah. Whatever.
I don't believe you that you didn't laugh because I know your sense of humor. So
like, looking back on it,
I'm not buying it.
I didn't think that one was clever, so I was like, I also was like, what's the point of repeatedly calling JR a fat tub of goo? It wasn't even. I did laugh at Girth Brooks. I thought that was hilarious.
I've never heard that in my life until then. I mean, I forgot I even heard it back then. So
same. I know. The other one wasn't even clever. I was like, you're calling him fat, ha ha ha. But when he said Girth Brooks, I was like, holy crap, that's a good one. But anyway, the main event of the evening was somebody that a pay-per-view is named after, actually main events. How about that? Shawn Michaels with Triple H and Chyna in his corner takes on Ken Shamrock for the WWF World Heavyweight title. This one is about 18 and a half minutes. I said this is one of my all-time favorite Shawn Michaels attires. Unfortunately, I think he only wore it, here, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they make him a tell figure of him in this outfit?
They did. Walgreens exclusive. Yeah, never got my hands on it.
Yeah, I want that one really bad, but I'll never have it. Shamrock gets dumped outside at one point. Michaels distracts the referee and Triple H beats Shamrock down before rolling him back in. Later, Shamrock catches Michaels with a belly-to-belly, and then Triple H and Chyna jump him for the 4th disqualification of the freaking night. Uncle Dave gave this 3 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average. What say you?
I gave it 3. I really like this match, but I thought the finish ruined it.
Yeah, 4 DQs in one night. What is this, Nitro?
Well, this is clearly a filler show. That's why I don't judge off that.
No.
This is clearly getting into the Royal Rumble.
The big finale. Owen Hart had been out for a while. Well, he's back. Owen Hart runs in to the ring, and Shawn Michaels is celebrating on the apron. Even though he lost, Shawn must pose, because god dang it, the show's named after him. So
Shawn
Owen runs into the ring.
A new one.
First it was Jarrett must pose, now it's Shawn must pose. But Owen shoves him off the ring apron and through the announce table. Thought that was pretty sweet. Owen then jumps on him and he beats the crap out of him. As Triple H tries to grab Owen, he takes off through the crowd. Shawn's nose is bleeding from the attack, and I'll get to something about the blood here in a second. But Shamrock ends up leaving, and we get a second instance tonight of, like I said, of the guy who got beaten up posing in the ring after the match. So that's the end of the show. Owen Hart, by the way, from Bruce Pritchard claimed that Owen Hart actually bladed his fingertips for this, so that he was, because if you watch the attack, he's like shoving his fingers into Shawn's face. He's trying to wipe his blood on Shawn and make it look like Shawn's bleeding, but it didn't come across very well, except on the nose. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah. So, Bruce Pritchard was talking about that because he said Owen was like, well, I want blood, but Shawn didn't really want to blade for this, or he didn't want to make Shawn blade, one of the two. So he actually cut open his fingertips, and he said Owen was really upset after this too, because he was like, how'd the blood look? And he was like, not great. And he was like, damn it. So he cut his fingertips for nothing, basically. But this is a cool segment. I wish it would have played out more, but I mean, to be honest, Shawn Michaels had, 2 more shows? He was around for, including this, 4 more months, I think, right?
Yeah, but he barely wrestled either, or 2, but...
Yeah.
After the Rumble, I think he only had 1 match, so...
Yeah. He broke his back against The Undertaker the very next month, so he had that 1 match at WrestleMania after that, and that was the end of Shawn Michaels until 2002. Well, in the ring anyway. He came back as a commissioner, but...
Shark Tank hasn't been kind to DX members. I just realized that.
Right. Yeah,
Michaels broke his back there. Triple H tore his quad there. And I was at both shows, by the way, so I don't know how I feel about that.
You're a bad luck charm. Well, we're going to take our final break of the podcast. When we come back, we're going to get into the final ratings and what's to come later in the month. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @main_event_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/main event marks pod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, we're back for our final segment of the program. It's the final ratings. IMDb gave this event 6.2 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 4.11 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10 for a D. What say you?
I said C+.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I know. You really like this one. This one was much like it was a stopgap show as a pay-per-view. It was a stopgap podcast for me.
I look at it like a story builder. Yeah. If this was a WrestleMania, I probably would have said a D+ or D-, maybe even an F.
Yeah.
But it's hard to grade like that on a show that is just a filler to get to the next one.
Yeah, so a lot of these in your houses, there were very few of them that were really memorable for being good. We did review one from earlier this year, actually, in 97. We reviewed Canadian Stampede. So that's in the archives. If you guys go check that out, it was from July. So, I mean...
there was In Your House, It's Time. That was a classic.
You keep referencing that. Like, it must have been, like, monumentally bad.
It was one of the worst shows ever.
Oh, good grief. Well, it was main evented by Sid and Shawn, wasn't it?
No, Sid and Bret Hart.
Oh.
Shawn was on the commentary, though.
Ah, man. I might have to go back and watch that just to see what it was like. But, all right. All right, man. Well, that is our show for the week. It is Christmas Eve. I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday. I know I've got family stuff planned. But on Christmas Day itself, on the 25th, this Friday, we're dropping a bonus episode. It is AWA Super Clash 3, the third one. This show was like, can you believe it was not the last one?
Should have been.
Yeah, it really should have been. It was not the last one, but it is probably, besides the first one, it's the most memorable because the main event was Jerry Lawler versus Kerry Von Erich in a title unification match. Kerry Von Erich was the WCCW World Champion, and Jerry Lawler was the AWA World Champion, and they were supposed to unify the belts.
I don't want to use this term loosely, but it was memorable.
Yeah. I mean, it was memorable. I have a lot of notes for that show, so I'm very much looking forward to recording that with you. But yeah, we'll get that done and up on Friday for your Christmas present. Some AWA Super Clash 3 under the Christmas tree.
Because apparently we hate you.
Oh, come on, man. You don't want to open up a gift under the tree and you see AWA Super Clash 3?
Dude, that was my dream as a kid to have the VHS of that. I never got it, though, because Santa hated me.
Yeah, right.
All he brought me was wrestling toys, man.
He brought you some wrestling men, mijo?
Holy crap.
Shout out to one of our loyal listeners there. But yeah, and then we're rounding out the month. Speaking of hating our listeners, we're rounding out the month on the 30th. It is New Year's Eve. We are dropping WCW Starrcade 2000, the last one. We like covering firsts and last on this show.
The last WCW one.
That's the last one that counts. So it is the last one. And
implying that this show counted. Okay. I mean. No, you said it.
Yeah, I mean it did, in a way.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm not saying how it counted, Greg. It did count, though.
Sure.
But anyway, we're covering Starrcade 2000 next Wednesday, and also every Monday. Don't forget to go listen to the Main Event Figure Federation. We're making the shows shorter now, and this Sunday is actually our second pay-per-views ever. Greg for Overdrive is bringing you Indestructible. Me for Jacked, I'm bringing you Winter Jam. So it's going to be a good time had by all. Very much looking forward to that. And like I said, every Monday is a new episode of the weekly Main Event Figure Federation podcast. But all right, man. Anything you have to say to close this one out?
Yes. Don't stop listening after you know you review crap, please.
Yeah. Well, hey, this Friday, there's a lot to cover, believe it or not, on the bonus show. That's why I wanted to cover this one, because there's, honestly, the news and notes portion is what I'm most looking forward to this. So, we'll get into all that this Friday for the bonus show, AWA Super Clash 3, and next Wednesday, it's WCW Starrcade 2000.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year.